You can say whatever you like on this. Not many people listen to it.
Yeah, the 21 people that watch it, you'll be right.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not the people you know anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right. Let's just put this up here.
Yeah. Well, you can tell who's
It's like
having a rugby.
Yeah.
It's like we're flying a plane, Chisel.
I've seen a few. I had to look at Mick Davis's.
Yeah.
I look at that. But,
I think your name got dropped in Mick Davis's.
Did it? Yeah, well, probably. Mick takes every opportunity he can to take the piss out of me.
I don't think you're alone there, to be honest, Chisel. Anyway, we're good?
Yeah, we're good. That's good. Welcome to In the Green Room. I think it's episode 6.
I have no idea. It's round 9, so we've missed 3.
We missed a couple, yeah.
And that's my fault. I'll put my hand up here.
That is your fault.
I'll tell you one man who's never missed anything. The last man to catch a train from Merriweather into the junction.
A train?
Chisel Gill. A coal train.
Yeah.
We told that off air just before.
That was, yeah. Merriweather Street to Bull Street, yeah.
Really?
Back in the day when there was overhead bridges and train tracks.
Well, the coal train used to run down Morgan Street. From the pit head up at Morgan Street.
Yeah.
Down to Ridge Street. Then from the corner of Ridge and Morgan, it went to the corner of Merriweather and Caldwell.
Yeah.
And then down Merriweather, behind here. Down behind the Junction School. Then left to the Junction. And then down, so you've got Bruce Street, Corlett Street. It used to run down behind the houses, down behind the cricketers.
Yeah.
To Civic Park.
Right.
So Dad's parents lived down here. It was the last house the hospital took.
Mm-hmm.
And Mum's parents lived in Bull Street.
Right.
So I'd grab a coal truck.
Yeah.
And I'd ride it, jump off of Bull Street.
And that's how we used to train.
That's how you train. Yeah.
Jumping off and on trains.
Yeah.
A few people lost their arms, bit of skin off.
Get down to Bull Street, get a kick up the arse from my grandmother, covered in coal dust.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's a good story, one of many, I'm sure.
Well, that's.
How old were you when that was happening?
Oh, mate, I'd have been 9, maybe.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
I can't remember when the wild train left. I can't remember.
So you were a proper local. Obviously, you've been around the club since it was started. You've seen.
We go back to the old man he played, and his brother and Mum's brother. They're up there, the 47. They played 47 first grade grand.
And was that Walter? Was it Walter?
Wal Gill, Keith Gill, and Jack Jones.
Yeah.
And your brother
played.
Yeah.
And the two boys.
Yeah.
Your brother was also.
We know
Michael.
the two boys.
Yeah,
brother. Yeah, you know.
And for our audience out there, you're our favourite Gill. Let's be honest.
It's not much to beat, mate.
It goes you, Brad, probably Kingswood, Clyde,
Fletcher.
Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah. So your old man played in the 40s.
1940s. He played 16s through to first grade. Yeah.
Yep.
And they in those days there was a big deal if you went to league, that was it. No chance you're coming back to you.
Really? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that was still the case when I was playing, right through to probably when they turned professional.
Yep.
20 years ago.
I think Mick shared it on Facebook, to be honest, and that your dad went out into the bush, or was it?
We went. Well, he was playing for Carlton's.
Yeah.
And he was playing socially on league on Sundays with blokes he worked with.
Yep.
So that might have been a second division comp, I'm not sure. And old Spider Clark said, mate, hey, give up the league, you can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't. And he said, well, get stuffed. And he went and played with South.
Yeah.
So then he got a job coaching up in Barcaldine.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. So that was the year I was born.
So you were born up there?
No. I was born up here at Hillcrest.
Yep. The old. It's like when you come from Nelson Bay and you're born behind the Groper Dome.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah. So I guess. So I'm born in September. So Mum was up there. So I guess she's come back and had the and me, and then gone back up to Buckhall. He had 2 years up Buckhall. Yeah, he played. He played for Central. He played against Brisbane.
Yeah.
For come in what they call it, Central West, I think, Queensland. And he played against Brisbane, and he played against France.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so that would have been an experience.
Back when when they toured and the French were thugs and
yeah, well, they were. But I'd say the Buckhall boys would be pretty be up there to themselves.
Yeah. And
I'm sure there was no brie cheese going around after the game.
Probably not.
Or Camembert.
Probably not.
and so your dad won the 47.
Yeah, 47 grand final. Then he went to South and Buckhall. They won the first year. He was up there. He was captain coach at Buckhall, and they won the comp.
Yep.
Up there. Yeah.
And then so when did you start playing? Do you remember your first game or anything like that?
Was it Merewether Carlton or just Carlton?
No. We lived out at Shortland.
Yep.
I played for the Devils.
Oh, you did? Yep.
Yeah, the Shortland Devils. And then the old man got moved to Brisbane with work, and we were up there for 3 years, I think. I played Aussie rules and a bit of rugby, and then came back here.
I can see you in tight, bright white shorts.
Bright white shorts, yeah. Yeah, you know.
Not getting touched, just running around.
You've been talking to Mousey and South. Fair enough. But, so then we came down here and settled in Adamstown. I ended up playing with South, and they had a red-hot side under 14s, and Johnny Davis and Dave Park and a few others, and then the next year, 65, we come and played 16s here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And you never left after that, is that?
No, I had 3 years west in Canberra.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
So that was 74,
good club too,
5,
down
6.
There. You only go to good clubs. That's what I like about you.
Well, mate, they were just around they were the next suburb, and I asked the estate agent, we'd rent a house, and he said, yeah, well, West Rugby Club. They had a rugby club and all.
Yeah.
And I went round there, and 72, 73 here, we had 4 teams in the grand final, and we won 5 of those and had a draw.
Yep.
Then I went to West and they had 4 teams in the grand final and won all 4.
Yeah.
It was a good club. Well, there was two Wallabies at West.
Yeah.
Current Wallaby, then current Wallaby.
Yeah.
So they were a good side. Yeah.
What brought the move from South to the Greens? What was?
Well, I don't know, mate. I can't really remember that. Johnny Davis' brother Steve had come over from South to Carlton's that year or the year before, so maybe that was the reason. But there was 6 or 7 of us came out of that South side.
Yeah.
They come over and played, and then we won under 16 grand final 66. And a lot of those blokes, Peter Prince, John went to Randwick, but Johnny Trevilian, Dave Park, Princey, there was 8 or 9 out of that mob that stayed with the club right through. Yeah.
Was Bullet, is that the same area as Bullet Fisher, or is he a bit younger?
He's a bit younger.
Yeah.
So he came along a bit later. Thank Christ, I had no trouble with what I had. Let alone Fisher.
I was going to say that would have been an even better mix of people, because obviously you grew up with some of the greats and you played with some of the greats of the club.
Yeah.
And was this the stage where you were all living at Mitchell Street?
No, when the Merewether Carlton house, it was over there, in Mitchell Street, we're just over there.
Yeah.
There's 2 houses.
Right behind the old scoreboard?
Yeah, pretty well. Where those flats are.
Yeah.
Where those red brick flats are.
Yeah.
So, mate, that was one of the dumbest things I ever did. I was about 19 or 20, and you beauty, well, we've been in the Carlton house, me and Johnny Trevilian and Graham White. Never, a weekend there was never less than 20 blokes, unbelievable.
That doesn't sound dumb to me.
Sounds like a good time.
Mate, we put on a hungy in the backyard there one night. There must have been 100 people there. We had a husband and wife swaps. We had husband and wife had a swap that night. My one in my bed, one in Graham White's bed. What's going on here?
Jesus.
So
it was back in the day where one key starts all.
we had the remember, you know Wayne Oakey?
Yeah.
Okay, he was supposed he put the hungy down and he was supposed to come dig it up. So anyway, come 11.
Is he still playing?
Probably couldn't find him. So a couple of we set off 2 or 3 cars to go and find him. He's turned up about 2 in the morning, pissed, and they dug up and digging it up, and he had no shoes on. Cut his foot, there's blood everywhere in the food.
Just a bit of marinade.
Just a bit of marinade. So yeah, but it was that was. It was just a nightmare living there. I don't know. I lasted over a year or 18 months, I suppose. Longest year of my life.
How long did we have the house for?
Well, because
we had one for a long time. I don't know. That went back 10 years. So that's 72-3. I was in it, and that one we bought that year 72, somewhere about there.
Right.
And then they sold them. I'm not sure. That'd be.
It was in early 2000, was it?
Oh,
late
no, I think
90s.
it was before that. Yeah,
Late 90s. Yeah.
Might
No,
have been
I
in the
remember
80s.
that. No, I think it was like the last one was sold late 90s.
Had to be early 80s, I'd say, because I know that we had to change the constitution to deal with the money.
Yeah, right.
From the houses. So that was the 80s.
Yeah.
What was why did the club decide to buy houses? What was that all about?
Oh, mate, that was old Spider Clark. He old Ted, he absolute champion. I mean, they just to make a quid. The plan. There certainly was a plan in the 70s and 80s to have a clubhouse over there.
Right.
So sounds like there was a bit of a clubhouse there.
Well,
let's be honest.
Well, the people who lived next door to us, they'd been there quite a while, And, anyway, Spider was around there all the time, Pull your heads in, bloody wake up yourself, stop the noise, stop swearing, bloody, So, but that was the plan. So that was, and I think they accepted that was never going to happen, so they sold.
Could you imagine if the club had held on to him to now?
Oh, well, mate, you would look at 5 million something.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Didn't we have taxis did we own taxi plates or something at one stage too?
Could have done. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But
Harpy's got
it's possible. See, Spider was, he was unbelievable. I mean, you had to pay your fees, and you had to pay $2 a week for some reason. I can't remember why, And where's your $2? I haven't got it. And he had one of those old nib pens.
Yeah.
He used to dip in the ink and jam it in your ass. Okay, Ted. Okay, Jesus. But he was, he was a terrific. He never played, but he was around from right at the start.
Yeah.
Him and old Doc Morgan, and they whatever money the club had, he just, it was. He went through the depression and and all the rest of it. I mean, he's
So he's frugal with his money.
Oh, mate, he couldn't get. He was a big collector, but paying out, no chance. Paying out. Yeah.
So was that around you were 19 or 20? Was that around when you started playing first grade?
My first introduction to grade was I was still playing 18s, and 3 of us. The first year they had 4th grade comp. They're in the grand final, and then the 4th grade was all the old blokes, all the bloody rat bags. So they called 3 of us up. Rather short. We was playing in the 4th grade grand final. They won that. So that was called the President's Cup.
Yeah.
So, of course, Fordham and NJ and all those blokes said, that's not the President's, it's a World Cup. So, yes, I think the sign's on the thing downstairs, 1968 World Cup.
Is that what that is it?
Yeah,
right.
So after that, then they had, like the every year they'd have a World Cup ball.
Yeah.
Which was just a piss up in the green room on grand final day, whether we were in it or not. So they just Fordham and NJ just made this huge big deal out of this 4th grade side. They had reunions every 5 minutes. Unbelievable. I went on till Fordham.
Passed on. I mean, he used to come up every year as well.
Well, yeah, he came up, mate. No, he was he was a Wanderers bloke.
Yeah.
And he was a sports reporter for the old Newcastle Herald.
Yep.
Newcastle Sun. And he came here one night, and it pissed down. It was mud. The ground was all mud. And he came to interview whoever it was, one of the first graders about the game coming up. The boys kidnapped him, took him down the steps, put him in the big sloppiest muddy. Just dumped him in it. He had his coat, tie, and everything on. And after that,
he never left.
Never left. No.
Yeah.
No.
And it used to be awesome when he'd come here, and I got on quite well with him. He helped me out with a bit of stuff early on in the piece, and he was always very good at that. So he'd help anyone, you know.
He'd help anyone. He had some great contacts. He stitched the deal up with 2 weeks to put all the plumbing and all that sort of stuff.
And he was when we used to have the day on the green, he used to get the jerseys and all that sort of stuff.
Mate, he had some great contacts.
I remember, and I'm talking about myself now, I shouldn't be, but there was one time and I had the album out and it was number one. He said, "Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to ring me mate, Dennis Handlin, who was the head of Sony in Asia Pacific." So we're in the green room.
Yeah,
he said, "He talked to him." And I'm talking to the head of Sony and got a meeting with him and that. Yeah, right.
No, he was great. And I mean, he managed, like John Laws.
He was the kingmaker kind of, wasn't he? He turned
Mark Taylor, Ricky Stewart. There's old
Joey. He had Joey and Matty, but then Matty left. Yeah.
So he went, and if you go down to the cricket, we used to occasionally go to the cricket, you'd end up at the Wallara pub. With Mark Taylor and Chappell and the All Blacks coach. The guy that coached the All Blacks when they had the World Cup here, I can't remember his name, but he was there. I mean, he had always.
Yeah. Was it Henry? It was Henry.
Can't remember his name. But he was a nice bloke. But yeah, mate, he had some unbelievable contacts.
Yeah, cool. And you've obviously, that's one name to mention, but there's a myriad of others that you've been around.
Yeah. Well, look, we so as I said, we came here 16s. So presentation night for the under 16s end of the season. Guess what it was? Keg in the green room. Well, after that, then they brought this old bloke Terry Lane along to tell stories.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there going, you blokes do that? So we were gone.
Yeah. So how many kegs you reckon you've had in the green room?
Mate, when you first come in the grade, you had to carry them up the stairs.
Yeah.
18-gallon wooden kegs.
Not the 9, not the 9, the proper ones.
And that. The old green room didn't have that glass across it. It was just that thing on the side wasn't there. So it was just a box with only those two windows facing the scoreboard. And and that was a change room.
Yeah.
So, women weren't allowed in the place. And the other side got changed underneath. And and you stayed there. I mean, sometimes till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
I don't think things changed that much, do they?
Well, probably not. I mean, the pubs closed at 10 in those days, so the alternative was to end up at the Greek clubs in town, and there were some of the old, the early nightclubs. But so I mean, Beck could sing, and Beck used to work at the clubs.
Yeah.
He could sing. And High Noon was the early favourite, and then later on Bojangles.
High Noon, Bojangles.
Yeah,
I wish I was around in those days.
Well, I mean,
they just had good names.
Blokes to sing. There's a bloke called Ian McRae, the grub. He used to sing Jerusalem.
Oh, yeah.
Jerusalem. Right, get him off. So it was, but Beck was good. Beck was, and then he'd have 1,000 jokes. He was my first coach in grade, and you'd run up the field one end, and he'd get to this end and he'd tell a joke, or he'd talk about what he'd done on that weekend. Then he'd run up there and he'd get it again. Like you sit in the middle of freezing, and so that was him, mate. He was a funny man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so
you go.
When so then you won 4th grade. So when did you start playing first grade?
69. I left school, so I'd be first year in grade was 69. And so I played second grade, played about 3 first grade games that year, 3 or 4. Mainly second grade, won the second grade grand final. So that was Kenny Raisbeck, coach, Raisbeck's Raiders, 69. And then 70, 71, we sort of, we didn't do anything. We didn't go nowhere. Not all that successful. 72, we got beaten in the grand final, first grade grand final. That was the first year we had 4 teams in the grand final. And we got beaten in the first grade by Waratah.
Yeah, right.
So they had Hipwell.
Yeah, I was going to say that that's a strong Greens contingent that went to Waratah as well, wasn't it? Because John Hipwell played here first, yeah? And they went and started Waratah. Cyril Burke and that?
Yeah, well, Cyril Burke's a long way before. So Johnny Hipwell's playing the 70s. Cyril Burke's the 40s.
Yeah, right.
Early 50s.
That's a fair gap.
So it's Cyril Burke, yeah. There was 2 blokes, Cyril Burke. Cyril Burke played juniors here. And then him and another bloke, Ernie Howarth, they started Waratah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I think Ernie Howarth played for New South Wales from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, Cyril Burke played for Australia.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Cyril Burke played for Australia. Yeah, he's a character. And then the 70s, it was Hipwell. They had a few. I mean, they had a few Wallaby halfbacks out there. Well, after Hipwell, I'm trying to think who they were, but I can't think of their names. But there was a couple. There was certainly one that played a few tests. Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. They haven't got a club now anyway, so there's nowhere to hang them.
Well, they've got a win. Deal, mate. Yeah, it's their club because so the next year, 73, we beat them in the grand final, and we of course made dickheads of ourselves and went out to Waratah Rugby Club.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Was that when the years like you played the grand final at the home, like
home and away?
Yeah. Was it because we played Waratah in a grand final here, didn't we?
No, it's played a semi.
Or was that a semi-final? The one that
that was always at number 2, and then they had match of the day at number 2.
Yeah.
And the teams used to go up to the old rugby club in New Common Street, Newcastle Rugby Club.
Wow.
Yeah, that was an old terrace they did up opposite the entrance to the Newcastle club.
Yep.
And it was a great club. And plus we had Noel Jackson, who was our World Cup player.
Yeah.
He was the secondary manager. So plus a couple of blokes behind the bar. So pretty handy, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So match of the day was standalone. Was it a Saturday, Sunday? Was it?
Saturday. Yeah. So whatever the match of the day was, you lost your home game.
Yeah.
And you played number 2. Yeah.
Do you reckon they should do that now?
But it was good. They used to put on like soup and all that sort of stuff up there, rugby club.
What, soup or soup?
Soup. They had a restaurant up there. It was pretty good. Doug Murray's sister used to work there, Sylvia.
Oh, still? Yeah.
Yeah, and then a couple of squash courts underneath down the bottom where the old what's down the bottom, and they had a car park around the back which you accessed off King Street. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
That was a good club, but they Wanderers blokes managed to stuff it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they used to get all the people in from James Fletcher Hospital and all the typesetters and that out of the Herald.
Yep.
And they used to, basically that's where they made their dough.
Yeah.
And send a few people back to James Fletcher.
And then Wanderers blokes got involved and decided, we can't get them a Newcastle club, so we'll make this exclusive.
Oh, right.
So you need the card and all that sort of stuff, and they
ruined it. They ruined it.
Sold it. Yep. Stuffed it.
Well, they didn't have proper drinkers drinking there anymore.
No, that's probably right. But I mean, all the time, all the nurses, the staff, and all the coming out of James Fletcher. I mean, they were mad. They were as nuts as that.
That's the staff.
Plus the typesetters, they were pretty heavy doers. Yeah. Out of the Herald.
The typesetters.
Set the type up on the paper. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, so how long did you play first grade till?
Then 74, I went to Canberra.
Oh, right, okay.
And won 2 first grade grand finals there. Never won one here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But won two at West. And came back 76, had my own business, so was playing a bit of first grade, but mainly lower grades.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you coached as well? Did you win a grand final coaching?
No. I did a junior. Yeah, we won a couple of junior ones.
Yeah.
We had a load of ratbag. We started again with Nick Hathley, Martin Carlson, Michael O'Sullivan. They're good kids.
Good teams.
They were some good kids in that. Cole Lippiott. And when we were playing juniors, the old Flemo used to have the paper shop.
Yep.
Down where Ray Robbo's is there on the junction. And he coached us. We used to train at the park opposite the paper shop. And but he used to take us away for a weekend. We'd go away, sleep on the beach, surf, keg. And so I decided to take these kids away. Oh, Christ. And we went down to West, actually, to play in the Sevens comp.
Mm.
We had a 20-seater bus, mate. They stole the bus. Bloody all over Canberra trying to find it. Unbelievable.
So it's just in that. What's the wildest era you've seen at Carlton?
Mate, wildest was probably the early 70s. I mean, I was away for a while. When the kids were born, they were playing sport, and I was away from the place a bit. But I mean, you used to get away with a lot of stuff, especially the old group, because they didn't have $5 million houses around them, and not many people got a car, so mate, it was the bus trips were unbelievable. The bus trips, and I mean, I was interested to see. Actually, one of the old blokes, Padjo, had a shot at Billy Dunn. There was a thing they'd been to Bathurst this year or last year, and there was an article in the newsletter. I had a great time Bathurst, this, all that, and we're always welcome back. We never got asked back. Sometimes we didn't even last the trip. Get out of town. We got thrown out of Corindai.
The grasshoppers.
Yeah, and we went on a bus trip to Noodles. Organised a game against the submarine was in town, Navy. So we played the crew here. And then we went down and played them down there. And we stayed at Navy House. I'm not sure where it was. I'm not still there. But it was a big old 3, 4, 5-story building built around a courtyard.
Yep.
And we're in this dormitory. It's about 20 double bunks in it. We're all burnt out, the booze. We're back there. And Johnny Tavilian it's a big fire hose, big canvas hose with a dirty big brass nozzle on it. And he's filling around with it. And Fordham turned it on. So this jet of water, Pavilion went about a foot off the ground when the water comes through. And there's blokes on top of bunks looking around, like hitting the head and knocked her. So this is out of control, this bloody hose.
Was that when you were wearing the Navy jerseys or prior to that?
Navy, the Navy jerseys.
Was it the RAF jerseys?
Was it the Navy or the RAF?
The RAF, mate. The RAF was... So we played the RAF in a trial game, and some of the boys got into the jerseys, and I got one. So, boom, dickhead, I've turned up to training the next night with the RAF jersey on. Here's the MPs. Wait a minute. Yeah, come here. Get that off. Yes, sir. No, sorry. That was me. Early lesson. Once you get those, just put it away. Stays hidden. Yeah, that was up the RAF.
That's wild.
Yeah, but that was a big thing. I mean, there was a few. Well, actually, I probably got that from the old man because he had Uber.
And I dare say it's gone down the generations.
Yeah, well, too. No, mate, no.
Mick was good at it.
Mick, yeah, well, I don't know about that, mate, because he knocked off mine and Brad's. So I don't count that, mate.
True.
Well, yeah, because it's a bit. How many jerseys do you think you've got?
Well, it's funny because Mick got them, and then I had a phone call from him a couple of years ago. He said, "I've got to give you these jerseys back." I said, "What? What are you talking about?" Brooke didn't want them in the house. Get them out. I said, "Yeah, bloody." this week. So, anyway, he's brought him over, and I said, "This is not all of it." He said, "I kept a good one." So I said, "Yeah." So he's Brooks bloody jumped on his head. He's jumped to us. Yeah.
And obviously, and Mick and Brad both played here, and both had varying success. Both really good football.
Yeah, Brad played. He played juniors here and played a lot of country juniors up to country under 21s. And he played New South Wales 19s. And he went to Canberra. Went to Sydney. Played with Rugby. Played a bit of first grade. Won a comp down there. Yeah. So he went all right. Then he's gone on, done really well coaching. Obviously.
And teaching and that, yeah.
Well, I don't know if he does much teaching. I don't know how much teaching.
He's a good mentor.
But, he's coached the Australian school boys.
Yeah,
South Wales schools and all that sort of stuff. And Mick got into the junior Knights squads early on. And
Manly.
And got cut from the Knights and went to Manly. Yeah, come back and played with South in Carlton. Yeah. Yeah, so and won a grand final. Yeah, good on him.
Yeah. That's really cool. So through your career, and I know we haven't got that much time, but who's the best person you played with? Who's the best player you played with?
Oh, best person I played with. Well, there's two blokes, I suppose. Both of them come out of that South under 14 side.
Yeah.
Peter Prince, I mean, he was early on, before South, he'd been playing a lot of soccer and that, and he played fullback in league, and he ended up coming into grade, playing second row here, back row, played with country.
Yeah.
So he played about, because in those days, internationals used to be a tour, so they played New South Wales, Queensland, country, Sydney, then Tests. Princey played probably 6 internationals for country.
Yeah.
Got invited to a Wallabies trial.
Yep.
He was, not particularly a brilliant player, but I mean, he had a big motor.
Yeah.
And just
tough.
Never saw him go down. Yeah. And Johnny Trevelyan, well, he probably would have been a Wallaby.
Yeah, well.
He was getting selected in country behind Hitwell.
Yep.
As a backup, and he developed a blood clot in his leg about a month after the 73 grand final.
Yeah, well.
So he's only 23 years old. Never played again.
Yeah, well.
And the next Wallaby halfback after Hitwell was a bloke called Gary Gray from Klamath. Another country bloke, and Trevelyan would have been in front of him. So,
yeah, well.
Yeah, so I mean. He was captain, and he did pretty well when he'd gone to Sydney for a couple of years, came back in 72, and he basically got us all fired up and organised.
Yeah.
Come on, we're going to be fair dinkum. Because we'd been pissing up and
having a good time,
but we're not going anywhere for 1970, 71.
Yeah.
So so there's probably two blokes that I probably was lucky to play with. Yeah.
What's your best memory of the club? Sorry.
Yeah.
Best memory of the club? Our nights in the green room. Mate.
Yeah. Were they memories?
Some of the stuff.
Can you remember?
Well, yeah, I can. And but I mean, that glass wasn't across the front, so it was just a box with those two windows, and no license, nothing, and food fights, bloody, just beg seeking, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. And I heard Mick talk about the bike upstairs.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't the first. There's a bloke called Brian Wolfen, I think, but he had a bike, not a bloody scooter. Got that upstairs, and where the old showers were?
Yeah.
Urinal. So he's there, and we've got these trestle tables, and it's all set up going out the window. So we had about 4 goes at that. And the cables kept collapsing. Thank Christ. I don't know what would happen if you'd gone out the window. But yeah, so that was the first bike. Yeah.
That's wild.
I was going to ask, who's not just the guy not one that you play with, who's probably the best player you've seen come through the greens?
Oh, best player. What, from juniors, you mean?
Well, just that's played for probably in grade.
Mate, I like. Well, I'll talk about the current players because that's. I mean, I like Rousey.
Yep.
He looks like he's a special player. I like Lockie Miller. Reminds me a lot of Peter Prince.
Yep.
He's just hard, keeps going, and both of them like to play up.
Tough.
And he's tough. And they're the sort of. I mean, we're a good young club. That's what I like. What's really pleasing about it right now is a lot of young blokes and a lot of good club blokes. They are club blokes, and they're enjoying the club. They're enjoying playing here, enjoying each other's company. Yeah, it's good. But I saw Jay Strawn come through from Colts. I mean, he's obviously one of the outstanding players the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
Yep.
And another one that's good off the field.
Yeah, but he likes to talk. But it's good to see. I mean, in the summertime we'd have a dozen, 20 blokes on the footpath down the Burwood playing lies dice. And these blokes, where you go when you see them around town, there's always a group of them.
Yeah.
I mean, they hang around together. I like young Luke Corrigan. I reckon he's a good goer.
He is a goer.
And I mean, there's some good. I'm leaving blokes out that I probably don't want to, but I mean,
us too as well. That's fine, Chisel.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, there's some good. It's a good young club.
Yeah.
They like playing here. They like being with each other, and they turn up for each other. So it's good. Yeah.
Now, I've got a viewer question from Mick Gill.
Oh, yeah.
He wants to know why he was such a great kid growing up.
Shit of a kid, mate. The absolute shit of a kid. From age 5, it was all, I said, how am I going to get rid of this? What can I look? I mean, I went in. I was, the old David Jones, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in there, and I've got him. I mean, the last thing I ever want to do any time is to take him with me anywhere. So I must have been looking for pins or something. So there are all these shirts and pants with coats on racks, right? He's running through them, and they're falling on the ground. I said, get it. And anyway, so I've gradually got him by the back of the collar. So he's come out of there. There's probably 20 people there, and he's gone, yeah. And they were looking at me, yeah, blood. I said, you bastard. So, mate, he's probably totaled. His sister's birthday party's probably totaled 2 or 3 of them. Girls with cream in their hair and bloody tomato sauce all over them.
Oh, I actually saw a good photo it was himself, I think Matt Davis and someone else at Movies in the old caravan park at Bluey's when you used to go away.
That was a goodie. Yeah.
Oh, you could imagine them all together.
Mick Davis and Matt, yeah. So, mate, he might have been a brain surgeon. He got tied up with Mick Davis. Lynn and Steve Davis got like the answer for him. But so that was a good role model. He picked Mick Davis. Yeah. Shit of a kid.
And as we always say, I know before we get going, trip away.
Yeah, end of season trip.
You got to pick 3 people. Pugger and I coming anyway.
Righto.
Who are you picking?
Well, I've got to pick Peter Prince. I mean, we're pretty well joint to hip everywhere. He was, I was, buddy. Dave Fordham. I mean, he had so many contacts. I mean, this is John's brother, brother. He's about a year older than me. But, mate, he just knew what was going on. Mate, he took us to a wedding reception once. Had no idea who the people were. No idea. We sat out, started eating and drinking.
The original Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
And his favourite trick was, particularly Wanderers blokes, if they're getting married, you ring up the fire brigade. There's a fire at bloody St Augustine's Church. So
it was one of the best lunches when those two were on stage, Dave and John.
And but he'd start. He'd cause trouble when the shit hit the fan. He was gone. So he was out. You're on your own in the middle of a bloody. So Fordham, Dave, probably Dave Park. Dave was a tough bastard, and he could fight. I was no.
Yeah.
So if you got in the blue, I'd want Dave Park.
Well, we need someone.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like it's going to be trouble for you.
Yeah. I mean, and if it's a triple A, you can't leave Beck around, mate. He's singing on the bus and telling jokes.
I can't believe.
It's hard to say.
I can't believe that he's going to be the tame one.
Who? Bugger. Mate. Well, Dave was pretty quiet, but but at least he could fight. I was no. I'm about 0 for 20. And he didn't mind a fight.
Really?
Yeah. But Dave still turns up. He's serving in the canteen down
here.
He's lost. He's dropped a lot of size, but he was a hard bastard.
Yeah,
very good.
Well done.
All
well,
right.
Thanks for that, Chisel.
Thanks for coming along.
Yeah, enjoy what you're doing. You're doing well.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. It's good. It's good to have a true legend of the club
That's just been around a long time.
And a born and bred local as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh, you're a life member?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. But that was back in the about 86, but and I wasn't there, so I don't know. I didn't know I was nominated.
What do you mean you weren't there?
I wasn't at the meeting when they. But I didn't know I was appointed. I didn't know I'd been. But yeah, about those. We had some big days. We had the Neil Adams Memorial match when we had Wallabies and that here, and the 50th anniversary we had Wallabies playing here. That was a huge day. Neil Adams Day was huge. This joint was packed.
When was that? It was
1986.
Yeah, I think I've seen a photo of it.
Yeah. I know Ricky Stewart was here. And Fordham organised all that. So that was Nick Shahady, who Noodles played test with, the New South Wales games with, and they were good mates. And Fats Holder, who was a Wanderers bloke, but a good mate of Noodles. But so the John Holder side was about 6 Carlton blokes and a lot of country blokes, plus Wallabies, Billy McKidd and them. And Shahady's side that Fordham organised with, I can't remember who the coach of that was, but yeah, so it was a huge day and a good day. Greg Milton's, Lockie Milton's old man played it, and it was a huge day. But those sort of things, they were they're memorable. And then going to the old country week that used to be at Eastwood, and there'd be Noodles, Fats, Billy Gunther from, where was he from? Tamworth or something like that maybe, and Hadja Palmer from down the Illawarra, and they'd all get together. They were great mates, and there'd be Wallabies floating around, and there'd be 12 sides there over 3 days. It was they were trips. But there's a lot of trips away, and even in the summer, even the surf club, you'd be on.
True.
So it was the bus trips were pretty minimal.
I'm surprised you even know what Merriweather looks like.
I spent a lot of time around here, mate. But you can't. You can't get a park. There's bloody driveways. You can't park in driveways. But in those days there was no cars, and you just walk around. The bloke down at the zoo used to just say, he'd say, "Well, I'm going to bed. Lock up when you go."
Really?
Okay? Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So,
I've heard stories about a few pubs like that, like Edgy Tavern and Archie Pub used to be like that. They used to leave the keys under
they used to shut it. Yeah, they used to shut at 10 o'clock, so you had to turn the lights off. But none of the locals complained. We weren't. Yeah, we knew we were supposed to be quiet, otherwise, but that didn't necessarily happen. But we never got any problem. It didn't happen a lot, but occasionally he'd just say, "Look, I've had enough.
Yeah,
I'm locking up." turn the lights off, lock up when you leave. Okay.
Well,
His name was Max.
speaking about locking up when
That'd
you
be
leave,
great.
you two better do that because I've got somewhere to be.
Right, mate.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for that. Cheers.
Well, yep.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Beautiful. I've got to stay be sponsored. The Steel City sponsor too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been big fans of the show.
Massive fans of the show.
Don't have any at the moment because I had a
You
few
drank
ones
them.
last night.
Yeah.
I had a few ones last night for my
Well,
anniversary.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah.
You've got to drink them.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, buddy.